Every major city, London, Amsterdam, even Gaza, graffiti everywhere. And some people might be like, why? Who cares? But it's literally everywhere. The law states if you're caught doing graffiti, you will be guilty of a criminal offence under S1 of the Criminal Damage Act of 1971. Sentences for graffiti range from a conditional discharge from magistrate's court for minor damage to up to 10 years imprisonment by the Crown Court where the damage caused is more than £10,000. Alternatively, you will be given a fine or community service, often the case in relation to young offenders. But what's people's perception on graffiti? What do people think when they see it? How does it interact with individuals, with businesses, with society? So what are your thoughts on the graffiti on your property?
I think this is a really interesting question, because we have been in this area about 15 years ago. We moved in here and the graffiti was part of who we are as artists. I'm an artist myself, I'm a musician. So when we move in here, artists move in here first. So this was part of who we are. And in terms of the graffiti, I don't mind really, because they're just artists expressing themselves. Sometimes the tags could be annoying, but you know, we are just moving into a new building. And it'd be really interesting to see if I'm tagged on that new building, which is going to be painted and renovated. Maybe my view might change, but because we all move here together, we've been years, and now the whole space is changing. I have no problem with graffiti, really. Yeah.
And have you ever made any complaints to the council?
No, never. As artists, I know we have to try and do what we do to get recognized, so that's really not an issue for me, really.
Yeah. So, no plans in getting it removed or anything? Or?
No. I think it will happen over time, because regentrification, these things happen. But right now, it's not really bothering me or bothering anyone, so no.
So I think there can be kind of like two sides of the same coin, really. It can either be tacky or it can be art, in my opinion. Like if you go down Digbeth, sometimes like when I'm in the area, sometimes if I'm going to a pub on the main street and I know I can detour around for like a minute, I'll go around and have a look at the graffiti. Even though I'm not personally like into graffiti myself, I don't, you know, I'm not in like any cultures or any like forums or anything for graffiti. It is nice just to kind of look at, especially in places like Digbeth. Like I said, it is an art form, in my opinion. Can it be tacky? I think so, yeah, absolutely. You know, you're on a train and it's driving and you see like loads of tags, like stuff like this. Like I personally, I think it's kind of tacky. I think it kind of ruins it, and if anything, it actually, in my opinion, can kind of bring a negative effect on people who actually are like making art.
To me, it can be a bit of a toss-up, really. So I think like tags and stuff, I think those are quite tacky. I don't like the look of them, you know, they're not very appealing to look at. It's just, it's people who just want to get noticed. But then you've got the other side of it, like in Digbeth, and I always think about Golfang. Inside of there, they've got all graffiti. The entire place is graffiti top to bottom, and it looks amazing. And it just fits the vibe of Digbeth so well. And I really like the fact that Digbeth has actually like gone to these graffiti artists and got them to make something beautiful and decorate the city. But then you've got the other half of it, which is just silly little scribbles. And you know, to some people it might not be that. I don't know the meaning of most of them because, you know, I'm just an average person, I wouldn't. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed bag, really. Sometimes it can be beautiful, sometimes it just looks a bit silly.
Graffiti is synonymous with hip-hop and gang culture.
Take this paint and go hit shit up. Start with our own set first. Later on, we spread out, take the whole hood back. You already spreading out, fat man. Let's play.
I think Vans has an interesting view they call the broken windows theory. The idea that small signs of disorder leads to more disorder, which then leads to gang warfare, then breakdown of the law. But to repeat, it is just a theory. A lot of graffiti you'll find is usually calligraphic, usually done with acrylic markers or spray paint. Or you've got the more iconic or image-based ones, which is done either freehand with spray paint or with the use of stencils, which you can paint over. Then you got the more mural types. These are the ones that are like kind of like paintings, will be on side of like buildings, houses. These are the ones that will be commissioned. People will ask the graffiti artists themselves if they can come and create this mural.
Now let's tell you a little bit about Banksy.
Elusive street artist in the world.
Embassy on Saturday night, and it shows Cosette.
Banksy, famous around the world. His art goes for millions, yet no one knows who he is. An enigma, a ghost.
A work by the street artist known as Banksy sold at auction the other day for well over $1 million.
Banksy was once like every other street artist, just a man with a spray can, just like JT. Why do you do graffiti?
I always started when I was about 15, 16. I remember it was in this jitty, like an alley. One of my boys was spray painting this emblem, and I was like, oh, it actually looked pretty good, to be fair. Like, I didn't know he had this artistic side to him. But I remember just going, oh, you know, I was a bit, you know, I was into some shady stuff, so I was like, oh, go on, I'll let me have a go with the spray paint can. And I just did a little emblem next to it that looked nowhere near as good, but I just remember the thrill I got from just spraying on the wall. This feeling like consumed me, and ever since then I've just kind of been addicted, you know.
Are you aware of the consequences if you were ever caught?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, that same lad, he actually he ended up getting a fine. I forget how much, but yeah, he ended up getting a fine. But I've dodged it so far. I've been pretty lucky. Like, I've never been arrested, nothing like that. I've never had anyone see me. I've had like a few onlookers come past and like sort of look all shocked and stuff like that. But nah, I've never gotten any trouble with any law enforcement, nothing like that so far. So knock on wood.
Are you considering a career in street art, like the likes of Banksy, who makes millions from his art?
See, right now I've just got like a normal run-of-the-mill 9-to-5 job. Well, I'd love to. I mean, I don't really have any other hobbies, to be honest. Like, it's kind of what wakes me up in the morning and gives me a bit of a thriller when I occasionally do it. So I'd love to. I mean, it's just you have to get the right people who are specifically, you know, tailored for that job, that want you to get on board with it. So, I mean, maybe if I got in touch with a few music venues or something like that, but I don't know if my art's really that good enough. We'll see. I mean, it's a difficult one to approach with because it is illegal. I mean, don't get me wrong. Granted, a lot of it looks good, but it's a sticky one because I don't want to say it to someone and then obviously I get, you know, in trouble. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. The earliest proponents for modern-day graffiti were artists like Jean de Buffet, New York artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Keith Haring. Is the need to express ourselves innately within us, marking our territory, places we've been. So, should we start viewing graffiti or street art differently from how we do now?